I am Marwan Cameron, and this is The Conduit. All right, y'all, we got a real special show for you tonight. We are going to check in with the Washington State Governor's Arts and Heritage Awards, Luminary Awards. It will start here shortly. And we've got to come on today because, there you go, I am Christina. We got to broadcast this tonight because it's one of our own that is being recognized, Akuyea Karen Vargas. So yeah, we're going to stream that today because we have to acknowledge our folks and we definitely have to give them their roses while they're here. So we're going to go ahead and jump in and broadcast. Send your love in the chat. Definitely send out the link so people can tune in and share in one of Kitsap County's own, Bainbridge Island's own. So many people want to claim her for all that she's done, everything that she means to so many people. All right? Absolutely. The roses are there. All right. Yeah, it's coming there. Sound will be up there shortly.
Washington State every year. But we all know what happened in 2020 when a global pandemic changed our world. COVID-19 was especially harsh on the arts and creative sectors. The pandemic closed museums, canceled concerts and festivals, and darkened theaters. Cultural institutions, artists, and creative workers across our state faced immediate financial loss. But it didn't take long before out of the pandemic darkness, we began to see sparks of light as artists and creators found different ways to share their creativity. And through their efforts, we were reminded that art has the power to heal and connect us in times of crisis, despite the very real challenges we face together. So this year, we are proud to present the Governor's Arts and Heritage Luminary Awards to recognize individuals and organizations who lifted and inspired us during the pandemic. Their stories are poignant and compelling. Their stories highlight some of the most amazing arts-based work that lifted and inspired people, even in the face of challenges and hardship. So congratulations to this year's 8 honorees who were chosen by their communities to be recognized in this way by Governor Jay Inslee, by ARTSWA, and by all Washingtonians. Thank you for the work you do every day to make the places we call home a little brighter, a little more inspiring, colorful, and creative. Thank you.
Welcome to the 2021 Governor's Arts and Heritage Luminary Awards. I'm Tony Gomez, a South Sound musician and arts educator at Tacoma Arts Live. Bienvenidos. I'm standing in the Native Portraiture Gallery at the Tacoma Art Museum, which is located in the ancestral and current lands of the Puyallup tribe. Surrounded by this incredible art, we are reminded that the awardees you will meet in this program work in regions long cared for by Washington's first residents, tribal communities which continue to live, work, and maintain their cultures in each corner of the state. In particular, We acknowledge that this program will visit the lands of the Yakima Nation, the Spokane tribe, and the Coast Salish peoples, including the Duwamish, Puyallup, Suquamish, and the Confederated Chehalis tribes. We recognize their elders past and present. This year, the Governor's Arts and Heritage Awards acknowledges the challenges and difficulties that the arts and heritage sector has faced as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. We call them Luminary Awards to distinguish and acknowledge these cultural leaders and organizations who stood as shining lights for their communities during the most difficult times of the pandemic. You will meet them later in the program, but first, here's a message from Governor Jay Inslee.
Greetings, Governor Inslee here. You know, Washington State is such an amazing place to live. We know that through arts, heritage, science, and culture, we learn who we are, and we revisit where we've been and dream about where we might go next. We need the arts, heritage, and cultural endeavors more than ever. Today we face extraordinary challenges: climate change, COVID-19 pandemic. It forced us to use creativity in ways we never imagined. And I've heard about the amazing work of artists, tradition bearers, cultural organizations, and their supporters that they produce across the state. We know the arts are essential for personal and community health. Arts in our schools help our young people become creative, productive adults. We know that preschoolers who have had access to the arts come to kindergarten more prepared to learn. So our theaters, galleries, and museums open our minds and heal our hearts. And I really appreciate true artists. So the challenges we face today ask all of us to push creative boundaries and find new solutions. It's exactly what tonight's honorees have done and why these Luminary Awards are so special. So this year's Governor Arts and Heritage Luminary Awards, we honor these people. We want to help them for bringing light to our community. Thanks to everybody who supported them. May that creativity continue. Congratulations to our 8 honorees. We thank you for your steadfastness, your innovation, and your creativity. Good luck to us all.
We start with a very special moment in the Luminary Award celebration, the Governor's Spotlight Award, which is awarded to Delbert Richardson. Delbert is the founder and curator of the Unspoken Truths, an American history traveling museum. Delbert's museum travels to schools across the state to shed new and vital light on the darkest moments of American history, from slavery to Jim Crow to the present day. The pandemic has also revealed many unspoken truths. The troubling realities of social, economic, and racial injustice have risen to the surface. We have all seen it, and too many continue to feel it. Because of systemic racial inequity, we know that people of color are at higher risk for the harms to health and livelihood caused by the pandemic. Delbert was no exception. When the pandemic hit, schools were closed, and that meant Delbert was suddenly unemployed. But that did not deter him. He worked to put the Unspoken Truths curriculum online. And instead of reaching one school at a time, he found he could reach thousands of students in multiple school districts all at once. Delbert's work shows us that to heal our communities, we must understand each other. And to fix the present, we have to understand the past. Delbert has earned many awards for his work, including the 2017 Carter G. Woodson Memorial Award from the National Education Association and the 2019 Mayor's Arts Award from the Seattle Office of Arts and Culture. Now he receives another well-deserved honor, this time from the governor himself. Congratulations, Delbert, and we thank you for your vision and dedication.
February 2020 will go down as a very pivotal time in my journey, both personally and professionally. I, along with my wife and a few friends, were weeks away from boarding a plane to Europe on our way to the continent of Africa to conduct various exhibits and tours with my national award-winning The Unspoken Truths American History Traveling Museum. Little did we all know that COVID would alter the course of everyone's lives globally. As a successful small businessman, I was contracted with many public schools across the state. With the rapid expansion of the virus, I found myself unemployed overnight. As schools struggled to find ways to provide educational services for thousands of students, I too saw myself struggling. How was I going to pay my bills and also provide much needed heritage-centered educational services for primarily Black and BIPOC students. My primary method of delivering curriculum services had been in-person exhibits for both students and professional development for teachers and staff. The virus prohibited entry to all buildings. Being a sole proprietor of a business and experiencing a growth spurt prior to COVID, I was already toying with the idea of developing some type of virtual platform that would allow me to service more students in districts across the state. Because I had previously developed many contacts with teachers, I found out that there was an immediate, desperate need for online content. Hearing this, I immediately sprang into action. I converted the majority of my content over to a PowerPoint format. I then segregated my content by grades: elementary, middle, and high school. Needless to say, as a result of these adjustments, I became an essential vendor of record for various districts across the state. I am humbled and eternally grateful to be acknowledged and to receive the prestigious Governor's Arts and Heritage Award. It feels good to be recognized and honored as a viable small business by the state in the areas of arts and heritage. Thank you very much.
We now go to Ellensburg, where our next honoree is based. Gallery 1 Visual Arts Center is known as one of Central Washington's premier visual arts centers. It began in 1967 when an Ellensburg women's group sponsored an art exhibit as part of the year-long celebration of the Ellensburg's centennial. Over the years, Gallery 1 has become a beloved community hub, offering exhibits of contemporary art, quarterly classes for students and adults, and providing studio space for local artists. When the pandemic forced the gallery to close its doors, Director Monica Miller and her staff began to brainstorm ways to keep art alive during the shutdown. Time and again, they showed that their dedication, resilience, and enterprise helped soothe and heal the community in ways that they never thought possible. Their partnership with the Downtown Association and the Ellensburg Arts Commission helped create large-scale art for shuttered stores, reminding folks to support their local businesses. They conceived and created 1,600 Art-to-Go kits that contained materials and instructions. The kits were distributed with school lunches delivered to student homes in May 2020. 600 bilingual kits were among them. The program was so successful that 1,000 more were delivered to elementary schools throughout Kittitas County during the 2021 school year. Gallery 1 was able to quickly move from a brick and mortar gallery to an online hub of gallery sales, exhibits, classes, and workshops, and as a result distributed almost $100,000 in commissions and awards to artists over this year. Congratulations to Gallery 1 Visual Arts Center, a 2021 recipient of the Governor's Arts and Heritage Luminary Awards.
I remember March 2020 like it was yesterday. Maybe a week before we were shut down, the Gallery 1 staff, Krista, Sarah, Renee, Amy, Clay, and I had our last in-person staff meeting. We sanitized the tables, we sat 6 feet apart, and we asked ourselves, how can we keep our mission to provide access to the arts for all and to continue to create a community drawn together by art if the virus makes its way to Kittitas County and we have to close our doors? We busted out our big notepads and our markers. We went around the room and brainstormed. What if we had to shut down classes? That's when we came up with Art-to-Go kits. What if we had to shut down the shop and the gallery spaces? That's when we decided to go online and open the Gallery 1 gift shop. What about events and meetings? We should probably try that Zoom thing. And our members, what about them? That's when we decided that Clay would call them. That hour and a half became our roadmap for the next 2 years as we tried one thing after another. And as a result, we are proud to say that we have served over 1,600 students in the schools. We have maintained income for artists, created multiple opportunities to stay connected, and never had to reduce our staffing. Together, we adopted the 4 qualities of care that I believe make the artist: creativity, adaptability, resiliency, and above all, empathy. To be honored for this work by the governor and the state arts commissioners represents the overwhelming care that we were given in return. The recovery funds from the NEA, ARTSWA, Arts Fund, and our local Ellensburg Arts Commission, funders like the Macmillan Foundation, who were the first to release any funding restrictions, through partnerships with the Ellensburg Downtown Association, when we put up huge photos of downtown business owners and artists in the windows when those businesses were closed, and the daily care and presence of the Gallery One Board of Trustees, our members, our community, our funders, and above all, our artists. And for that, we thank you.
Over in Spokane, we have two honorees, an organization and an individual. First, the Spokane Valley Summer Theater. The theater's mission is to enrich, entertain, and serve the community in a safe and professional environment. This objective could not be more relevant than during the pandemic. In the spring of 2020, when the company was anticipating another productive year, it had to close its doors to keep audiences and staff safe from the spread of COVID-19. Little did they know that they would be shuttered for the entirety of 2020. But through the uncertainty, Spokane Valley Summer Theater has endured. It planned to reopen as soon as it was safe to do so. And in June 2021, partnering with the City of Spokane Valley's Economic Development Division and the Parks Department, company members were able to perform in a nearby outdoor venue to allow for social distancing and state-mandated safety protocols, becoming the first regional theater company in the Inland Northwest to return to live in-person productions. Congratulations to the Spokane Valley Summer Theater. We recognize it for its perseverance and dedication during uncertain times and award it with a 2021 Governor's Arts and Heritage Luminary Award.
Spokane Valley Summer Theater is so very honored to be the recipient of the Governor's Arts and Heritage Luminary Award. We use the phrase love and light in everything we do, and this just fits right into our mission. The Collaboration Award would not be possible without the cooperation of the City of Spokane Valley Parks Department, City of Spokane Valley Economic Development Division, and the Central Valley School District for allowing us to return to live in-person theater in summer of 2021. Back in February of 2021, you really had to remember the vaccinations and vaccines were not widely available yet. And we had a conversation with our leadership team. Are we going to try to produce something, or are we just going to cancel our season the same way we did in 2020? What we decided is that it's so very important to return the live performing arts to the community no matter what. We knew it was going to be a logistical uphill climb. It was probably not going to be profitable, but it was most important to bring people back together. And so with the help of the City of Spokane, we found a way to do live outdoor theater safely, bring the patrons back for enjoyable evenings outside. Despite the challenges of the year and the challenges of this pandemic, we did it with the help of our community partners, and we're so very proud and honored. Thank you so much for honoring Spokane Valley Summer Theater with the Arts and Heritage Luminary Award. We look forward to continuing our work in the community.
Over at Stage Left Theater, Jeremy Whittington faced similar challenges. Instead of allowing a prolonged shutdown to threaten the theater, Jeremy quickly assembled a team of artists willing to push the limitations of theater past its traditional physical space and into the exciting new world of virtual production. Within a few months, Stage Left had produced multiple playwriting festivals and special events on a virtual platform. It offered 2 full-length one-person productions, with 2 more scheduled for later in the season. Jeremy was nominated and selected for a Luminary Award, not only for his work with the theater, but also for his willingness to collaborate and build bridges in his community. Congratulations to Jeremy Whittington, a 2021 Governor's Arts and Heritage Luminary Award honoree.
Thank you so much for this award. I am so honored. But with anything in life, this is a team effort. My name might be on the award, but I have to thank Joy Wood, John Bongard, Robert Tomberry, Paul Watts, Michael Schmidt, Lizzie Kitzig. This is my team that took me through the pandemic, helped this theater survive, and brought stories to your home during this difficult time. The biggest challenge for us was learning how to use this new technology. I mean, we're all stage actors and directors and lighting technicians, but the transferring of that to a digital format that's going to read on people's televisions and on their laptops and on their phones even was certainly challenging to figure out, okay, how does the lighting have to change differently? What does the sound have to look like that's different from a normal stage play when you have a live audience? So those technical challenges were interesting to say the least in the beginning, but we kind of developed some new skill sets, all of us, as we worked through this. The end products ended up getting just better and better as the year went on. So we're hoping that people enjoyed what we did and what we have for the future. So I want to thank all of those people who made this possible, and especially the viewers who kind of took a chance on something new with theater. We continue to evolve this art form ever since we lived in caves and painted on walls. And this is just one more step in that evolution, I think. So thank you, thank you, thank you from the bottom of our hearts here at Stage Left Theater.
Collaboration has always been important to the Asia Pacific Cultural Center, which serves as a bridge between 47 cultures from across Asia and the Pacific. When the pandemic forced its doors to close, APCC found new ways to collaborate. Working with partners, it produced 109 virtual classes, allowing it to reach an audience of 285,000. It also partnered with the Tacoma Pierce County Health Department, who used the APCC parking lot for free drive-through COVID tests and vaccinations. APCC's outreach to the Asia Pacific community grew as the need for support grew during the pandemic. It provided free school supplies to students, free food, and free personal protective equipment. Most importantly, APCC provided up-to-date COVID-19 information in several different languages, working with the health department to address the disproportionate impact of COVID on BIPOC communities, particularly among Pacific Islanders. Mahalo, Sheshe, and Salamat to the Asia Pacific Cultural Center, a 2021 Governor's Arts and Heritage Luminary Awards honoree.
Well, I just want to thank you so much for the Luminary Award for Asia Pacific Cultural Center for this year. And we are so very excited to receive this award. And thank you so much. You know, our staff, our volunteers, our board of directors work so hard. And it's an excitement for us to help others. So it's been a real pleasure. We're still doing the work and we just love receiving this award. So thank you so much.
Douglas Orr not only owns and runs the Aberdeen Arts Center, he serves on 4 arts and civic boards and is president of the Harbor Art Guild. He's credited for revitalizing and growing Grays Harbor cultural activities in diverse and inclusive ways. Throughout the pandemic, Douglas continued to hold socially distanced art events and offered isolated painting areas in his center for artists to use free of charge. The Ocean Shores Convention Center has a new mural on the side of its building painted by Douglas during the pandemic. He said he wanted to help boost community morale and attract tourists. For his skills as an organizer, curator, and activist, especially during the darkest days of the pandemic, Douglas Orr receives a 2021 Governor's Arts and Heritage Luminary Award.
Thank you, Washington Arts, for always being there for Washington artists and for honoring me with this award. My main goal has always been to help us get through these dark winters and add color to people's lives and a smile. And my hope is that we're inspiring the young people that live in this area to see brightness. We have 4 or 5 months of gray, and my big goal is to help Aberdeen get past that gray. I'd like to take a second to thank my friend Lisa Kinoshita of Minka, Seattle, for nominating me for this award. I'd like to thank Laura Malakoff of the Senior Sunset Times for always supporting all great Washington artists, big and small. And also my partner, David Rodriguez, for always putting up with me and all my crazy, crazy art projects around the harbor. Thank you.
There are many cultural organizations in the greater Seattle area that do excellent work, but among them, Path with Art stands out for its commitment to using the arts to help individuals and groups heal from the effects of trauma. It is one of the only arts organizations in Seattle that solely focuses on underserved adults. It offers free, year-round, multidisciplinary arts programming to no and low-income adults in recovery from trauma. With the onset of the pandemic, PWA quickly recognized that its participants were disproportionately among those who would be most seriously impacted. Within weeks of the shutdown, PWA rearranged staff duties and budget priorities in order to launch its online distance learning program. They were able to purchase and deliver software-enabled tablets, arrange free Wi-Fi and hotspots, develop a national bank of tech volunteers, create art kits, assemble and deliver class materials, and employ more teaching artists despite the ongoing financial strain caused by the pandemic. We recognize Path with Art for its extraordinary work during the pandemic with a 2021 Governor's Arts and Heritage Luminary Award.
Art provides a sense of possibility. It fuels the future by saying, if I can do this, I can get to tomorrow. I know that I am a human being. I think that when people say art saves their lives, it saves their humanity and it helps them carry forward. In the best of times, our participant artists come to us from 55 social service agencies to deal with isolation, the isolation that can be caused by trauma and poverty, whether it's domestic violence or the impacts of being unhoused, struggling with mental health issues. And the best of times, participant artists come to us to be in community, to find a place for hope, to learn something, and to renew their own sense of identity that might have been taken from them or redefined by those traumas. So during the pandemic, that isolation increased multifold, and we had to act quickly in order to address a crisis, a real mental health crisis. Thank you so much for this award. It means a lot to Path with Art to have our work validated by the governor and the wonderful team at Arts Washington who do such great work. We are so lucky to live in a state and to have a governor and first lady who understand the importance of not just the arts, but also the importance of making sure all people have equal access and can be treated with dignity. And I think that that's what this award recognizes. So we are really honored.
On Bainbridge Island, Akuyea Karen Vargas has been working to make systemic and individual change through education, culture, arts, and heritage. Realizing that exposure to discrimination can permanently damage a young child's sense of self and even prevent them from realizing their full potential, she has been working for racial and social justice for more than 25 years. But never have her contributions to community and youth been more meaningful than during the pandemic. Her weekly Zoom time with kids is noted for helping them through pain, trauma, and isolation. Advocating for self-care, she steered many at-risk youth to the arts and healthy activities during the many months of pandemic isolation. When protests over the death of George Floyd threatened to divide the community, Akuyea took up the role of powerful and peaceful organizer, helping to bridge the tensions and facilitating a meaningful dialogue within the greater Kitsap community. For her lifelong work and tireless advocacy of social justice, for her fierce protection of young people, especially during the pandemic, Akuyea Karen Vargas receives a 2021 Governor's Arts and Heritage Luminary Award.
I would like to thank those who thought highly enough of me to nominate me for this distinguished award. I also would like to thank those who labored for so many years to make our communities a better place to live. I have to thank the Holy Spirit who awakened my spirit, who pressed upon my soul to speak, even through hopelessness. and that every one of us can change lives. To my bishop, the late Lawrence Ray Robertson, and to my Emmanuel Apostolic Church family who traveled across Kitsap County to support breaking down racial barriers and stood against racist attacks and discrimination. To my Evergreen family at Tacoma campus, I am truly grateful for the support and encouragement and the love you gave me and the life you've spoken to me at one of the darkest times of my life. Dr. Mims and Dean Arunga and Dexter Gordon and Dr. Shepard and Dr. Bacho and Hardy and Dr. Smith. And to my Mac family who laid the foundation for equity in our Kitsap County school districts, and to the late Dr. Frank Hitamoto, and to Maria Rivera and Gina Carpet, as well as those who have continued to move equity forward for our children. Chastity Malatesta, Katie Curtis, Deanna Martinez, Stephen Soltar, Joyce Nishimura, and to the Bainbridge Island School District and the Mott Council, and to my CLCA family who trusted me to support our youth who were struggling in the school systems and to preserve Kitsap County Juneteenth cultural community celebration. To Robert Body and J.D. Sweet and T.C. Curry. And to Aaron Leidick and Peggy Erickson and Catherine Keys and Christina Rourke, Kitsap E-Race Coalition, to Kitsap Surge, Village of Hope, Mary Flowers, Mr. Perry, Aaron Bryant, and the People's Institute Northwest Puget Sound Regional Council, and to Charles Patton. The Race and Pedagogy Institute under the leadership of Dr. Dexter Gordon, Bainbridge Island REACT, Bainbridge Island Kitsap E-Race, Kitsap Strong, and the support of friends in the movement that kept showing up even in storms. To the Living Life Leadership students who have extended a lifeline for this work. Amari, Ayana, Leah, Guylan, Sophia, and Fabio, and all of our youth leaders. And to my Beamer family who opened their doors to our young people even before the museum was even built. You gave our youth voice and opportunities. You poured into their leadership development, and you created space for their voices to be heard. You made them feel valued and gave them a place of belonging. Thank you, Bima, for being the catalyst that breaks down barriers while building community and nurturing relationships. And to my beloved family, Tamachi, Akila, Erasmus, Zachariah, Petra, Tater Tot, and Grandma Sylvia, I would be nowhere without you. You held me up. You loved me through it all. And to my beloved Tavi and Mommy and Aunt Albert, without your love, I wouldn't be here. And last but not least, I just want to thank all those that have supported us. And I'd like to thank Melanie and Stephen Cole, Cynthia Sears, and many more. Thank you.
On behalf of the governor and ARTSWA, thank you for helping celebrate our incredible awardees. They advance Washington communities through the arts every day. From the brightest moments to the darkest days of the pandemic, these individuals and organizations, along with many, many others, labor to make Washington State a place where we can all express our creativity and connect with others through the power of music, theater, dance, culture, heritage, and visual and literary arts. ARTSWA is here to help you spark arts and heritage in your community. Visit arts.wa.gov to learn more about how you can secure arts funding, support the arts, and nominate future awardees. Until next time, I'm Tony Gomez. Ciao.
All right. You know, just kind of reflecting being recognized in this way. We think of many of our historical greats that have done so much for not only their community, but for the nation and for the world in general. And we have all of our usual suspects, you know, Dr. Martin Luther King, and on and on and on. And we don't often see it when we're living it, right? The living history of the people that are making such a profound difference in our lives and in the world. And we probably won't really get to appreciate the work that she has done until long after she has passed and becomes one of our ancestors and a footnote in history. I think it's important for us to recognize and take note. We were speaking on the podcast yesterday, myself and Pastor Michael and several people that were listening in, and we were talking about what is the work that we can do to continue to heal and move us forward. Part of that was, what do we value? What do we prioritize? And these are the things that we need to prioritize here. We ourselves, our children, need to hold this up and value this. And as we do this more and more, we will continue to change and create the space that we want for our community, for our families, and for our country. So very important, so very selfless in the work that they do. I'm definitely appreciative of meeting Akuyea and being able to work with her. Being able to provide support in times when she needed it, and to watch her persevere and still hold others up, even through her own pain. So I watched that in real time this year. And many of you know the things that she has gone through this year. So tremendously powerful, definitely a testament, and one of our heroes for sure. So definitely a shout out to her. And should we all get involved and dare to make the change and the impact, man, the things that we can do. So here's to one of you being one of the luminaries of 2022. This will conclude our broadcast tonight. I'm so glad that you were able to tune in and join us. I hope that you will join us this weekend as we celebrate Dr. Martin Luther King. Again, subscribe, like, and share on YouTube or Facebook, but you will see them as they show up. I am Marwan Cameron. This is The Conduit.